All right, y'all. So make sure y'all hit the like button. It's your boy Showtime. Good afternoon. I gotta come up in here. I gotta talk about this real quick. I ain't gonna take all day. So bear with me while I get through this. So I'm all at the gym. I'm listening to everybody talk about the Clippers. And I notice how everybody have so much to say about the Clippers. Everybody keeps talking about the Clippers did not get better. They totally overlooking a couple factors. And we're gonna talk about on this stream right here. So we won't have to keep going back and forth on the whole situation. I'm here to talk about facts, not feelings. I don't care about your everybody entitled to their own opinion. I do want to say that respectfully. Everybody entitled to their own opinion. But we have to call a fact. We gotta call a spade for we gotta call it how we see it. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm listening to everybody, um, Kendrick Perkins and everybody and their mama. They got so much negativity, bro. So much negativity today. It's all built up hate and frustration because they teams ain't making no moves. I noticed that. Everybody got something to say about the Clippers, and they lying. This is the funny part about it. Everybody lying. They can't even they. I can tell none of these guys watched the Clippers last year. We watched the Clippers. I covered every game, training camp, preseason. We don't miss no games over here. We call everything. Look. What have I lied about, y'all? What have I lied about? Everything I told y'all happened. I told y'all what the Clippers need to do in the off season. What happened? So this is why I'm here. This is why I matter. This is why Showski. This is why I matter. Showski gonna come through and save the day once again. Me being a voice, being a person, a voice of reason, and I always give a logical take, whether you like it or not. Now, what's good? First of all, I want to say shout out to y'all. Clipper Nation, what's good, Clipper Nation? Salute to everybody. Well, big play, Jacob Pong, Mello, OC, Dominique, everybody, man. Shout out to y'all. Look, man, let's get straight to it. So I'm gonna start. Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins comes out right now. Let me play this. Break this shit down. Folks really be capping, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's so much hate going on. Look, I'm gonna say this. If you say if you're saying the Clippers not gonna win the championship, I'm fine with that. That's not what I'm talking about. I have no problem with people saying the Clippers not going to win the championship. They got question marks about the availability. I get all that. That's I got the same questions too, right? But when y'all get to talking about the Clippers didn't get better, they let me know. Number one, you don't watch Clipper basketball. Number two, I question whether you know basketball. And number three, I think you just straight up hating. it's no it's no better way to put this. Cause none of the shit y'all saying makes zero sense.
What does the addition of Bradley Beal do for the Los Angeles Clippers?
Nothing. Nothing. I mean, like I'm just being real here, right? Like you know, we was talking about maybe 4 years ago. We had Bradley Beal in the conversation with the likes of a Devin Booker, Jalen Brown, Donovan Mitchell when it comes down to the two guard position. But when you look at the Clippers and you look at who they have, they not doing nothing but getting older. And I know that they got John Collins from the Utah Jazz, but when you look at what teams have done this offseason, the teams that are trying to go get it, they have youth. They have athleticism.
Stop right there. Like I just said yesterday, getting Bradley Beal did not make the Clippers older. Bradley Beal is literally 2 months younger than Norman Powell. If anything, if Any piece they add on to this team made them old as Brook Lopez, 37. But guess what? You replace Drew Eubanks for Brook Lopez. That's a plus. You went from having a guy that you can't rely on at all to a guy that was just starting. We're talking about Brook Lopez. And so what? He's 37. That's better than what the Clippers had the last 4 years as a backup center outside of Hornstein and Serge Ibaka. Y'all got to keep it a buck. Bradley Beal is younger than Norman Powell. And I'm going to get on him in a minute because I'm finna cook y'all with facts. Not feelings. Everybody claim they know basketball, but they ain't doing no research because they don't watch the games.
They have depth at the wing position that could play both ways. I don't trust that the Clippers don't have that. Yeah, you bring back James Harden, who's going to do great in the regular season. You bring back Kawhi Leonard, who shows signs of life towards the end of the season that he could be healthy, but we still don't know, right? He's always had a question mark. The only bright spot, in my opinion, on this squad has been Big Zubac. Right, Big Zubac, who had an impressive season last year, went toe-to-toe with Jokic last postseason in the 7-game series and held his own. So when I look at the Clippers, they're going to be a top 8 seed in the Western Conference.
Okay, cool. Now, I want you to think about this. And I was right on the money last year. Y'all always do this. It's funny to me. First of all, I'm listening to people say the Clippers did not improve. Are y'all paying attention to what the Clippers lost? Are y'all paying attention to the players that departed from the team and paying attention to the players that they added on? The Los Angeles Clippers literally kept their 2 best perimeter defenders, Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn. They didn't lose these guys. They kept those guys. They didn't lose anybody. They kept them guys. The Clippers were literally top 3 in defense with Kawhi Leonard only playing 37 games. And I told y'all last year, they said the same thing last year. The Clippers was not going to make the playoffs. They was going to be the worst team in the Pacific Division. I told y'all they going to win 50 games. You know why? Because you finally got players that's going to go out there and do the dirty work. And nothing changed. They still got those same players. Now, let's get to this part right here. People keep talking about Norman Powell. He put up 21 points. He put up 21 points when Kawhi Leonard wasn't around. He wasn't playing. So, yeah, he had his usage rate was the highest of it was the career high usage rate, career high points a game. But guess what? When Kawhi Leonard came back and he got back in rhythm, Norman Powell 21 points went down to 13 points. You know why? Because the touches. He wasn't getting the same kind of touches in the starting lineup. That's why I kept saying he needs to come out of the bench. You know why? Because Norman Powell doesn't provide anything to your basketball club other than scoring. When he's not scoring, he's a liability. He's not a guy that's going to play make. He's not a great defender. He's a bad defender, especially off the ball. We got to be honest. And then what they're not telling y'all is this. I keep reminding y'all. The Los Angeles Clippers, and I knew this for a fact, the Los Angeles Clippers did not want to pay Norman Powell long-term money. Don't y'all know by them making this move, it created flexibility for the next 2 summers. Duh. That's why it's not all about this year. Them not re-signing Norman Powell, giving him that long-term money, helps them create max slots. They can go out there and get Luka Doncic if he's available. Potentially Giannis, Trae Young, somebody. They're going to get somebody, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now. Everybody keep talking about, oh, this person going to go to the Lakers. That person go to the Lakers. I'm telling y'all, breaking news. Steve Ballmer has a lot of respect around the league. He's going to get players to sign over there with the Los Angeles Clippers. I guarantee y'all that. I'm telling y'all now. The Clippers won't. This is not just about this year. This is about next year and the year after that. This was a smart. This was smart on Lauren Frank part, not re-signing Paul George. They told what's funny? They kept saying, "Oh, the Clippers need to re-sign Paul George. They do them wrong." Really? Now what y'all saying? Now what y'all saying? Now y'all saying the Sixers made a mistake. But the Clippers was being smart, but y'all was killing them for being smart though. And then they make another smart move, but not giving Norman Powell this long-term money so they can have the flexibility for the next 2 summers. Why, on top of that, they could potentially go on a deep playoff run this year. Another thing y'all not touching on is this. What I told y'all would need to be addressed on this team. A power forward and a backup center. You basically traded Norman Powell for John Collins, Bradley Beal, and Brook Lopez. And you're sitting here telling me we didn't get better? That's just, bro, y'all guys think like women. I noticed something about a lot of you grown men. Y'all think like women. Y'all are too in y'all feelings. And y'all not thinking with a logic. That's one thing I notice about these days on the internet. Everybody thinks with emotion. They're too caught up in what they don't like. I don't like the Clippers. I think they trash. Okay, that's your opinion. Let's talk about facts. The facts are this. The Los Angeles Clippers created flexibility for the next 2 summers by not re-signing Norman Powell and Paul George. That's facts. That's not my opinion. That's real spill right there. Meanwhile, the teams y'all like, the Los Angeles Lakers, they ain't making they big offseason acquisition is DeAndre Ayton and LaRavia. Do y'all really believe DeAndre Ayton and LaRavia are going to move the needle for the Los Angeles Lakers? Really? Milwaukee Bucks, they got Miles Turner. What else do they got? They re-signed the same old players they got last year. They ain't making no moves. But I hear a lot of dudes, Bucks fans, talking about what the Clippers ain't gonna do or not gonna do, but what the Bucks gonna do? Nothing. You lost your point guard. What about Knicks? What the Knicks doing? Well, what are the Knicks gonna do? The Eastern Conference wide open. The Miami Heat, what are they gonna do? The Warriors, they supposed to have got Al Horford by now. What's going on? Nobody else making real moves. The Clippers literally making moves to set themselves up to have a good playoff run this year and the next 2 years. Y'all need to really think before y'all speak. Everybody keep talking about numbers. Look at the points of game. Bradley Beal literally can put up you gotta understand something. Norman Powell, if you would have resigned him, you're not getting 21 points a game from Norman Powell this season. You know why? Because Kawhi Leonard's going to be there. He's going to play more games this year. He's going to be there from the start, from training camp. So he was going to have a different role. He wasn't going to go out there average 22 points like he did last year when Kawhi played 37 games. 2 different roles. Now, again, if you want to talk about injuries, that's a different conversation. Shout out to Dennis. Shout out to AB. Shout out to y'all in the chat. That's a different conversation. I have no problem with that. If people don't think the Clippers are a championship team, that's a whole different conversation. Okay, that's fine. You have the right to think that. But to pretend like the Clippers didn't get better, how is the Clippers didn't get better when you got Norman Powell back? When we got Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard was finally get his legs up on him, he only averaged 13 and a half. 13 half points. Norman Powell averaged 13 points in the last 20 games. That was that whole little run with Kawhi Leonard. He started getting it going. He started cooking. Norman Powell, he wasn't averaging no 21 points. You go out there and get Bradley Beal, who's he could score just as good or better than Norman Powell. He's a better rebounder, better defender, and he's not that great of a defender either. I want to say that on record. I'm not a big fan of Norman Powell or Bradley Beal defense, but I do know this: Bradley Beal defense still better. It's definitely better. And then you go get John Collins. You finally got a power forward. We did not get $53 million Bradley Beal. We got $11 million in 2 years Bradley Beal, which is 5.5 per year. It's not the same thing, bro. It's not the same thing. Phoenix Suns' problem was this. And the I think y'all missed out on this part. The Phoenix Suns. You know why the Phoenix Suns was garbage? You know why the Phoenix Suns wasn't that good of a team? Because you're paying Bradley Beal all that money, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, all three of them getting paid over $50 million a piece. You're not gonna have no balance. You're not gonna have role players. You get Bradley Beal for $5.5 million. And for the dummies, they say, oh, the Clippers ain't got no defense. The Clippers didn't lose defense. That's the part they are not understanding. The Clippers did not lose defense. The Clippers lost a 20-point score and added on 40 points. They added on. Matter of fact, I'm being. They asked what's Brook Lopez average? He not gonna average the same amount of points coming off the bench. But you get what I'm saying though. You talking about, oh, they lost 21 points, but you added on 40. You didn't lose defense. What defense did you lose? You got the same defenders. The Clippers became a better rebounding team. That needed to be addressed. You got more size. Hey, y'all, we got some breaking news. Damian Lillard just signed a 3-year, $42 million deal with Portland Trail Blazers. Why did he go back to Portland? Hold on, y'all. Let me pull this up. Why did Damian Lillard go back to Portland? Huh? That made no sense. Look, y'all. Damian Lillard signed right back with Portland. I don't understand that. That don't really make sense. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't even understand that whole move right there. The Portland Trailblazers, so we know Damian Lillard is not gonna play this year. Maybe it's maybe because they the only team that gave him that contract. Maybe other teams wasn't willing to give him that money, knowing he tore his Achilles, knowing he may not come back the same. But Portland looked out for him. That's actually that's respect. I actually respect that, to be honest with you, because that's Damian Lillard already looked like he was on a decline, but the fact that they was willing to give him that money, knowing he's gonna be out for a whole season. Uh, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know how to feel about that. Y'all, this man really did he really just leave the you gotta remember though, like Damian Lillard, I don't think he really wanted to leave Portland. Honestly, now that I think about it, it just came back to my mind. I don't think he really wanted to leave Portland. I think he wanted to stay, but they was rebuilding. They was going in a different direction, and I think that played a part of him wanting to leave and go to Miami. If y'all remember, he wanted to go to Miami. Yeah, he wanted to go to Miami. Yeah, maybe no other team wanted to pay him. And again, y'all got to think about this too. Like guys don't want to be far from their family. I think Damian Lillard, if I'm not mistaken, I had to I had to call Kinfolk because he know Dame. I think Damian Lillard stayed. I think his family stays in Portland, right? If I'm not mistaken. Don't his mama stay in Portland? I don't think she ever moved. So this kind of crazy though. It's really that's very surprising, man. I'm not gonna lie. That's very surprising. And he got a $42 million contract. In the end it includes a player option. So they made sure he was straight. They made sure he was taken care of. Um so basically and then y'all look at this. His deal expected to include a player option in 2027-28 and a no trade clause. So basically, he's going to end his career in Portland, probably most likely. Wow, wow, that's surprising. I ain't gonna lie, that's surprising. That's very surprising. Mm. What up, Chris Chap? Now back to what I was saying about these bozos. You said showing an update on the Warriors, they might be stuck. The Golden State Warriors, they have been in touch with Al Horford, of course. DeAnthony Milton, I think they want to bring him back. I think the Warriors right now, they basically they're gonna be forced to re-sign Johnny Kuminga, probably most likely. Give him money pay him, and then trade him at the deadline. They're gonna have to. It's gonna. I don't. I. It's like the free agency. This new CBA is just different, man. I think it ruined free agency. It ruined free agency. Jimmy Butler, they gave Jimmy Butler that money. So, they pretty much gonna have to they don't have the money to make any major moves out without trading Jimmy or Draymond. You're not trading Steph Curry. So they basically gonna have to make minor moves like get a DeAnthony Milton and an Al Horford, because you lost Kevon Looney. You lost him. I think they gonna make minor moves, and then the trade deadline come around, they're gonna try to move Jonathan Kuminga if they don't do it now. I haven't heard any static about them. It's the Phoenix Suns. The whole Phoenix Suns rumor came out last 2 days. We'll see what goes with that, but I don't. If I had to guess, maybe they move Jonathan Kuminga, but if they don't, and you see them sign him to a contract, that just means they trying to make sure he gets paid, So, and then they're gonna trade for him to get some value back in return. You know. But shout out to hey man, you know what? I respect this though. I respect this move from Portland. I respect this move from Portland. I really do. Damian Lillard, like they ain't have to do this, y'all. Y'all do know this, right? Portland didn't have to do this. They really looked out for Damian Lillard. They really looked out for him. Like for that was real. That was a G move. That was a G move. And I think players they're gonna look at it's the principles, They're gonna look at it, they're like, man, y'all took care of Damian Lillard. Respect. I think that was a yeah, that's respect right there. No trade clause. Then he got a player out, so he pretty much get to control his own destiny. That's respect. He said the NBA Player Association fell asleep at the wheel because this doesn't make any sense for players. I really don't like the second April. Me neither, bro. Me neither. I hate it. Dame lives in Portland. Yeah, okay, I figured. Yeah. Cause remember y'all, he didn't want to leave Portland, remember? He didn't want to leave Portland. Now Portland, they're trying to make the playoffs this year. Portland trying to make the playoffs. That's why they got Drew Holiday, and we all was thinking maybe they move Drew Holiday again, but no. They trying to make the playoffs. Whether they make the playoffs or not, I don't think they got enough pieces, but I think they're focused on trying to take that next leap. They hoping Drew Holiday can bring some playoff experience, help them get to the playoffs. But that right there, like this news right here, man, I respect it. I respect it. Definitely, man. Shout out to Dame. Shout out to Portland for that. That was real. That was real right there, man. That was real. He said, Dame literally played zero defense. 3 years, $42 million. Yeah, what is that? I mean, even when he starts to fade a little bit, I mean, you still got Scoot Henderson. But in my opinion, y'all, I like to give young players like 3 to 4 years in the NBA to determine what direction their career's going in. Thinking maybe Scoot Henderson take a leap this year, but I have big time concerns about Scoot Henderson. I'm not gonna lie. His jump shot is not where it needs to be for him to be a consistent starter in the NBA. He got great athleticism, but he has to improve his jumper. He has to, bro. Uh, Shaden Sharp, I like Shaden Sharp. Of course, he's a player. Portland got some young talent on their team. They got some players over there. And I like Chauncey Billups as a head coach. I don't know about y'all, but I actually like him as a head coach. I actually think he do a really good job. I know nobody said anything about the Clippers winning the championship, bro. I don't even care about it, bro. I'm not finna argue with you, dog. You don't even know what you're talking about. He said he messed up Giannis situation. Y'all think? Hold on. Y'all think Damian Lillard? So hold on. Hold on. Time out. Let me check the temperature real quick. Time out. Y'all don't like this move for Portland? Like y'all don't think Portland? Like y'all don't think this was a smart move right here? I like the move. It doesn't really that doesn't stop them. That doesn't stop no progress. You gave Damian Lillard 3 years, $42 million. I like this move for Portland. That's not a bad move. I'm more so happy for Damian Lillard than anything though, because I was concerned. I was concerned about whether a team was gonna look out for him, and they did. They said, "So remember, you told us Giannis was leaving Bucks for sure." Well, did I say for sure though? I don't remember saying for sure. I think, but again, Tish, a lot of people still think Giannis leaving Portland. I mean, leaving Milwaukee. A lot of people still think he leaving. It might not be this summer. But hold on. But you remember I told Elder. I don't know if you remember that show. I told Elder. I don't. He might not even leave this summer. But just because he don't leave this summer, don't mean he ain't gonna ever leave. Yeah, man. That's just hey. That's a fact. Hey, Paulo. Right. That's respect. So if they ain't won in Miami, he could have. Yeah, they gave the mid-level stuff. That's hey, bro. It's not, again. It's nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. Now let me get back to the Clippers real quick. Real quick. Let me go back to the Clippers. Let me pull this up. And I actually, you know what, y'all? I forgot all about Damian Lillard. For a second, I forgot all about Dame. I wasn't even thinking about Dame. Now I'm gonna play this for y'all, and it's funny. Everything your boy Brian Windhorst said in this video, I've been trying to tell y'all. But again, everybody so caught up in hating on the Clippers. They don't understand. They just made a real. They made some great moves this all season. That's gonna help benefit the team this year and going forward.
Perk is right. Perk is right that on the wing, their athleticism and what's going to be required to win 12 games in the Western Conference playoffs, they're going to get tested. I agree. But when you look at the teams that had great success last season, they had depth and size and depth. And that is what the Clippers have focused on this offseason. The Clippers took Norman Powell, a guy that they really like, but they did not want to give him a new contract because they want to protect their cap space the next 2 years because they're going to be big game hunting. Perk, you're right again about their age. Absolutely. Yep. But they're going to go big game hunting the next 2 years. They didn't want to give Powell the contract, so they took Powell and their mid-level exception, and they turned it into Brook Lopez, John Collins, and Bradley Beal. Perk is right. Perk is right.
But what Perk is wrong about is this. What how did the Clippers get older by signing Bradley Beal when he's younger than Norman Powell? That's the only thing. Now, you say let's say they go get Chris Paul. Yeah, that makes them older. That does make them older for sure. But you can't sit here with a straight face and say by getting rid of Norman Powell and getting John Collins, Brook Lopez, and Bradley Beal doesn't make the Clippers better. You're lying. You're lying to yourself, bro. You're lying to yourself. They didn't even lose any defense. Have anybody ever sat down and really think about that? That the Clippers kept their defenders. I have more concern if the Clippers let they traded. If they traded Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn, I'll be a lot more concerned. Yeah, you got a point, but you kept them. You literally kept them. Yeah. If you just not coming in, Damian Lillard going back to Portland on a 3-year, $42 million deal with a player option with no trade clause. So now the Clippers they're going out, they're seeking they're looking for a backup point guard. They talking Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Paul. He said the Nuggets got better. I mean that's cool. That's cool. We'll see y'all. Hey, we'll see y'all. We're gonna see y'all again. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. He said that's crazy respect. Hold on, some people just not coming in. Let me go back to this. Let me go back to it because maybe y'all missed it. Maybe y'all ain't see it. So I'll go back to it because I know some of y'all probably just not coming in. Seeing people still asking me the question. As you can see on your screen, Damian Lillard returning to Portland. What's happening to Scoot Henderson? I think Scoot Henderson on the clock. How long do we have to wait on Scoot Henderson? Like, how long do we wait on Scoot Henderson to live up to his draft pick, the selection? How long do we have to live up? How long do we have to wait till he live up to that pick? He has things he has to work on, and that's why when we was having that conversation about who's better out of Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller. Remember that? I told you I'll take Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller's a better player. I'm not sold on Scoot Henderson. In the NBA, as a starter, you got to have a jump shot. You have to have a reliable jump shot. You have to. It's impossible for you to be a long-term starter in this league without a jumper. This league is all about spacing. It's all about having dynamic scoring guards and being able to space the floor. You know, and he doesn't really do anything else that's effective. That's going to help your team win. He hasn't. He's not a great lockdown defender. He has great athleticism. I'm surprised. To me, he should be a lockdown defender. He has great athleticism, but I don't think he has great vision. I don't think he have a great feel for the game. It's some things I gotta see more out of Scoot Henderson. I think this is gonna be the most important year of his career because it's gonna determine what direction he's gonna go in. Is he gonna be he's gonna be a starter? He's gonna be a star, or eventually going to come out the bench. Y'all remember what happened to Emmanuel Moody? Look what happened to Emmanuel Moody. Emmanuel Moody had all that hype coming into the NBA. It was a debate. Who's better, him or D'Angelo Russell? Emmanuel Moody could never develop a jump shot. Before there was Jamal Murray, remember y'all? Remember now? Before Jamal Murray got drafted 2016, it was about Emmanuel Moody. He was supposed to be the future point guard of Denver Nuggets. Emmanuel Moody never developed. And then you look at Markelle Fultz. I think Markelle Fultz. I think his shoulder. I think it was something more with his shoulder than his actual shot. If y'all remember, Markelle Fultz had a legit mid-range jumper. Like his mid-range, he was an elite mid-range shooter, high school and college. Something happened with his shoulder. He was never able to bounce back. Like look at his shooting form now. And if you go do research, they were saying it was something with his shoulder. I think there was something going on with his shoulder more so than his shot. So everybody like, why did he change his shot? Well, he kind of had to change his form a little bit because of his shoulder. Yeah, Dennis Smith Jr. He's another one. Yeah, Dennis Smith Jr. See, a lot of these guys are talented, but they don't have game changing skill set. They don't have a game changing skill set. They can score. Like a lot of these guys got scoring abilities. They got like Dennis Smith Jr. He had a scoring. He had the ability to score, but he didn't know how to score. He didn't know how to like control the game with his scoring. He didn't make players around him better. He had great athleticism, but he wasn't going to be a guy that you can build your franchise around. So yeah, again. Now if you look at a guy like Ben Simmons, how did Ben Simmons last this long? Because Ben Simmons is 6'10", great ball handler, can rebound, elite defender, and Ben Simmons on his way to be one of a lock Hall of Fame. And I don't know what happened with his back. Some people say he really wasn't hurt, and then they say he was hurt. So I don't know what's going on. So yeah, what's up? What the real Lil Tay? Yeah, Markelle Fultz. There was some rumors about him getting a motorcycle accident or something. Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember they were saying his shoulder was bothering him. Dumb as hell. Got to get into him. He was okay. Yeah, he was never the same player again. Right. Okay, y'all just reminded me because I remember something happened to his shoulder. He got into that accident. Yup. That messed him up because Markelle Fultz was really nice. Markelle Fultz was really nice. He really Markelle Fultz would have been one of the best guards in the league if he didn't mess his shoulder up. Because he had the athleticism, he had the skill, the jumper, but man, that totally held him back. But like Scoot Henderson, can Scoot Henderson develop a consistent jumper? I think he just so far. He haven't shown me any kind of indication he's going to be a consistent mid-range shooter. Now that can change. That can all change. Now I'm not saying he can't get better, but I just didn't see. I didn't see it. But that boy's athletic. That boy athleticism is off the charts though. Now he did average. You look at his numbers, what he put up. He did average 14 points his rookie year, but it was inefficient though. 14 points on 38% from the field, 32 from the three, inefficient. The next year his minutes was he played less minutes, 12 points, 3 rebounds. His assists stayed the same. His field goal percentage went up from 38 to 42. His 3-point percentage went up from 32 to 35. So that's league average. So yeah, maybe he can improve and get better, but he got it. These guys put up a bunch of stats. That's why I don't like having these arguments about stats. Oh, this person averaged this, averaged that. But these 20 points, these pretty stats, do they control the game though? Do you know how to do these guys? Because all these guys got scoring abilities, but do they know how to control the game though? And I don't. It's 90% of these guys that's supposed to be great. They don't know how to control the game if they're scoring. They don't know how to control the game, the pace of the game. They just go out there. They get the ball, 17 seconds on the shot clock, and they shoot a long range contested three. Now you're never gonna be a champion like that, playing that style. That's never gonna work. I don't know what Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah, Colin Saxton. Yeah, Colin Saxton. Man, his name been involved in trade talk. I think Dennis Smith Jr. overseas. Yeah, he overseas now. But life come at you fast, boy. You went from being the next face of the Dallas Mavericks to now you overseas at the age 27 years old. That's why I'm telling y'all, people use all the arguments about scoring. Scoring. Oh, this person averaged this amount of points. This guy can score the ball. But it's plenty of players out there that can score. But how many players out there that don't mind going out there defending and doing all the dirty work? They don't mind going half the game without touching the ball. That's what players. That's what coaches want. Coaches want players to go out there and play defense, do the little things, especially on a team that already has scoring. A lot of these guys, they only good with the ball in their hands, or they only putting in full effort, max effort when they got the when they getting they numbers. But you look at a team like Oklahoma City. I always respect Oklahoma City what they accomplished last year. They got a bunch of guys that understood their role. It was a pecking order. Everybody understood the pecking order. But you had a bunch of guys that went out there, didn't mind defending, didn't mind it was gonna be nice. They were gonna score 5 points, 2 points here and there. I mean, it's all about sacrifice. And that's what's gonna happen with the Clippers. Guy like Bradley Beal, again, I'm not the highest on Bradley Beal. I can make the case he may need to come off the bench. I can make the same case I made for Norman Powell last year. I can make the same case for Bradley Beal this year with the Clippers. It may be best for him to come off the bench if he's not going to go out there and compete on defense. If he's not going to go out there and compete on defense, night in, night out, then he's going to be in the way. It's the same thing. But again, the Clippers did get better because they addressed their needs. You got rid of one guy that you didn't want to pay for three guys. And they're not done yet. They're still looking for a backup point guard. Chris Paul, maybe Chris Paul. I think there's a good chance Chris Paul signs for the Clippers. We'll see. We'll see. I know they're talking about Phoenix. He wants to be a starter, but at the same time, he wants to be close to home. I think family first. I think Chris Paul, if the Clippers want Chris Paul, he's going to be a Clipper. Going to Phoenix, he's not going to get the starting job because you got Devin Booker, you got Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks at the 3. So, he's not going to start there either. So, I think it's safe to say Chris Paul likely going to be a Clipper. I think it's a foregone conclusion on that. I'll be surprised if he go anywhere else at this point. But, well, Smoke. Yeah, he doesn't need to start. Again, Norman Powell. See, Bradley Beal. Here, I do got concern, right? Again, the injuries, the lack of defense. I get all that. I'm with y'all on that. Trust me. That's a whole different conversation. My thing is this. And I'm gonna put this on the screen what his agent said. Cause I'm like, hold on now. What do that even mean? Bradley Beal, he's gonna be a good fit for the Clippers. No doubt about it. I have no doubt. He's gonna be a good fit for the Clippers. But just like Norman Powell, I had the same. This is what I ain't like about Norman Powell though. Norman Powell wanted to be a starter. That's another thing. I kept getting on Norman Powell and Tyronn Lue. He kept he spent the whole entire year, including the playoffs, babysitting Norman Powell feelings. He wanted Norman Powell wanted to start, and he knew if he put Norman Powell on the bench, he was gonna get mad about it. But you're not really a starter. On a championship team, Norman Powell is not a starter. By no stretch of imagination, he's not a starter. As good as Norman Powell is as a scorer, his scoring is not good enough to help you win championships as a starter. I'm gonna say it again. But the Clippers need depth. They got that now. They had to go address a couple of things. Now, where is that quote at? I don't know what happened to it. What is this right here? You said, how would you know if he's on the Clippers? Okay. So let me ask you a question. What did Norman Powell do with Portland Trailblazers? What did he do with Portland Trailblazers? Did he help Portland Trailblazers win? Go look at Norman Powell on the Portland Trailblazers when he averaged 21 points and they were getting the hell beat out of them. Their defense actually got better. They actually got better when they traded Norman Powell. Norman Powell, lack of size, he's only 6'3". By the way, did you watch what happened in the playoffs in the Denver series? That's not about no. So see, this what y'all missing though. This what y'all missing. Again, y'all are too emotional. Stop thinking like women. Let's talk business. Was it a good idea for the Los Angeles Clippers to sign Norman Powell to a long-term deal, knowing Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, they're only going to be around for like 1 or 2 more years? Was that really a smart decision? I start right there. Is that a smart decision to sign Norman Powell to a long-term deal? Let's start right there. Let's break it down. I'm gonna go slow because I think I forgot some of y'all is not all of that. Y'all not all that sharp up here. So let me help you out. Let's start right here. Was it smart to give Norman Powell long-term money? Yes or no? Press 1 in the chat if that's smart. Press 2 in the chat if it's not smart. See, that's what y'all not thinking about. Y'all missed that part. Y'all the same dudes that was saying Norman Powell don't play defense, Austin Reeves better, he's inconsistent. Y'all the same guys. It's the same thing that happened last year. I kept telling y'all, I didn't want the Clippers to give Paul George their money. I wanted the Clippers to trade Paul George and get something in return. They let him walk, and look how that worked out for him. Yeah, Bradley Beal, okay, begin. But Kinfo, you actually, if you saying Bradley Beal is equal to Norman Powell, that's a win. That means basically you got John Collins and Brook Lopez, and you kept Norman Powell then. But again, Norman Powell is not better than Bradley Beal. He's not a better all-around player. So to say that Norman Powell's a better all-around player, I think you're being disingenuous. He's not a better player. He's not a better player. If you want to say Bradley Beal is injury prone, that's okay. I got you. I agree. He's injury prone. You want to say Bradley Beal is a perimeter loser? He hasn't won anything. That's true. He hasn't won anything. But to sit here and act like Norman Powell is better than Bradley Beal, how? If I put Norman Powell on the Phoenix Suns, they was still gonna be ass. He was not gonna help Phoenix. He's a better glue guy. I don't. Okay, I think Norman Powell as the sixth man is a better glue guy. I'm not sure Norman Powell as a starter is a better glue guy. Again, you got to factor into this. Norman Powell being a starter, Norman Powell wanted long-term contract. He wanted to get paid. You got to factor those two things. He wanted to start and he wanted long-term money. That don't just okay. So I see people really ain't answer my question. So I'm gonna ask you again. If you the Clippers, should you have given Norman Powell long-term money? A 32-year-old, by the way, he's 2 years older than Bradley Beal. Yes or no? You said yes. You're trolling. You obviously you trolling. Just by them, I'm gonna say it again. Just by them making this move, the Clippers have flexibility for the next 2 summers. Why would they give him the money when getting rid of Norman Powell, not paying him, creates cap space for the next 2 summers? I'm gonna say it again. Not giving Norman Powell and Paul George that long-term contract open up 2 match slots for the next 2 summers. People, you guys, bro, y'all got to stop being so damn emotional, man. Y'all are too caught up in the Clippers or the strippers and all that. That shit cute, but you gotta think, put your thinking cap on and really think. Lawrence Frank did a hell of a job this year, improving the team. He kept the defensive identity, and on top of that, again, let me find the video so y'all can understand too. Where's the other video at? I'll leave it right here. Cause where's the other video at? Cause I saw somebody they said the same exact thing and they was 100% correct. Who was that? Somebody sent me that video too. I've been right on the money with this shit. I know what I'm talking about. Where is that? Where is that? Where's it at? Who was that made that video? Yeah, I know who it is. That's right. That's right. Where is it at? I don't even know what happened to it. I tell you what is this right here?
The one need for the Clippers right now, I am told, though, is the point guard position, a reserve guard coming off the bench. I'm told they have Chris Paul on their radar, among some other free agent guards as well. I expect the Clippers to take a patient approach. I don't expect them to make any immediate decisions yet, but that point guard, reserve point guard spot is something that they're going to look to fill. But this is a team that's really started to load up here, and they've been able to keep flexibility long-term as well, alongside with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, now Brad Beal in the mix as well. The one need for the
They just talking, okay, right here, he just talking about them getting Chris Paul. Now, Chris Paul do make them older. Look, I do want to say this. If they do get Chris Paul, I don't think the Clippers will be smart. Tyronn Lue has to. He can't. He see this the only thing I don't like. By getting Chris Paul. My only concern is Tyronn Lue going to prioritize Chris Paul because Tyronn Lue loves offense. He loves guys that can score the ball, and he infatuated with ball handlers. Now Chris Paul, he's going to bring intangibles, leadership. You know, I think he'll be. I think Chris Paul will be better for the playoffs than the regular season, though. I don't like Chris Paul for the regular season. He's not the same Chris Paul, but if you saw what he did last year with San Antonio, I thought he did a hell of a job as a leader. Still at that age, he's still able to go out there. You know, the Clippers, the Clippers, there are games where they turn the ball over way too many times. With Chris Paul, actually, he does a really good job of taking care of the ball. So having a guy like that coming off your bench, not so bad, right? And I like it for optics too. I like bringing Chris Paul back for optics.
Averaging 17 points a game. And by the way, he wasn't part of the reason his scoring was down, guys, is he wasn't getting the ball. Now, you can argue whether that was a good decision or not, but he had the lowest usage rate of his whole career. He got the ball more as a rookie than he did last year in Phoenix, but that's whatever. But 17 points a game at $15 million a year, you're not thrilled with that. You're paying a guy with max with a no trade clause. Of course you think he's underachieving. 17 points and 50% shooting at $5 million a year? Yeah. Now we're having a different conversation.
That's the part that part right there. You can't overlook that. You getting 17 million for five. You getting you getting 17 points for $5 million instead of giving Norman Powell all that damn money. Should Tyronn Lue be on the hot seat? For you know what, y'all, for some reason though, even if I say, yeah, Tyronn Lue should be on the hot seat, Tyronn Lue, he never gets blamed for anything though. I don't even know he'll be on the hot seat, to be honest. It's like the Clippers love I think Steve Ballmer, he loves Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue has a lot of respect. He's looked at as one of the best coaches in the league. So it's kind of hard for me to say he'll be on the hot seat. I don't know. I haven't. You notice Tyronn Lue never gets heat. He never gets heat for when the Clippers come up short. Now it's not all his fault either, because it's not his fault that his players are not healthy. I give you that. I just thought last year he got out coached. Having Norman Powell, James Harden, and Bogey at the end of the game, and it was that game 4, and you needed defense, you need stops, and Aaron Gordon jumps over small ass. I mean, come on, Norman Powell got the game winner. Like, yeah, he should have got cooked for that, but he didn't. I mean, we cooked him, but you know, Doc Rivers and Tyronn Lue, those guys. I think Doc Rivers has been. He does get cooked. He does get cooked now. I'm not gonna lie like that. Doc Rivers, he at least get cooked. Tyronn Lue don't ever get cooked. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. I don't know. I think, in my personal opinion, if he can't manage this group, then yeah, his ass should be in a hot seat. But in reality, I don't think Tyronn Lue gonna get fired until you actually see breaking news. Tyronn Lue part way with the Clippers, and it ain't gonna say fired. I'm gonna tell you right now, Tyronn Lue is a clutch. He represented by Rich Paul. You know what they gonna say? He parted ways with the Clippers. They ain't gonna say the Clippers fired Tyronn Lue. We're gonna say he parted ways with the Clippers. But see, this is the thing though with James Harden. See, this is why I kept telling y'all the Clippers need to go. Look, they got to get more depth because James Harden, he gonna bring it 82 games, playoffs. He gonna give you 2 really good games, but the other games you can't rely on him. That's why I was telling y'all, you got to go out there and get size. So when he's shooting on bricks, you got to have guys who get offensive rebounds. You got to have other guys that can step up and help Kawhi Leonard on the scoring. And they did, and they got that. You said stop the cap. Bro, you telling me to stop the cap? Tyronn Lue, a regular season coach. Kinfolk, you ask anybody in the NBA, they will tell you Tyronn Lue is one of the best coaches in the league. I didn't say that though. I criticize Tyronn Lue. I like Tyronn Lue, but he do bogus crap sometimes though. I don't like when he prioritizes offense over defense. So again, you got scoring. So when the playoffs come and he's not making shots, guess what? You got a Chris Paul who could potentially win you 2 games. Now Chris Paul, he chokes sometimes too, but he can win you 2 games. If you get Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, John Collins, you got scoring. Big Zoo, kept niggas Batum, got Lopez off the bench. Look, man, I'm ready for. Hey, I look forward to this year. I'm looking forward to the NBA season because everybody that's doing all this talking, what the Clippers ain't gonna do, and the Clippers ain't this, Clippers ain't that. We gonna see. We play y'all team and we smash our team. I'm gonna be talking cash money stuff, cash money ish. You feel me? You said Cap again. He exists to play out the same way. What are you talking about, bro? What are you even talking about, T? You just arguing. You arguing with yourself. Hey, sports dog. Hey, man. Hey, you don't need to talk, man. Y'all choked. The Cavaliers choked, man. I'm not even finna argue with you. You the last person to be talking about a team choke. Facts, Dre. What up, Dre? Man, I'm looking forward to this year, man. I ain't gonna look, man. I'm excited. Y'all can keep hating all y'all want to. You know, we locked in. I'm getting ready. I'm looking forward to this season. What's my boy right here said? What up, Daquan Al? He said, "No, I'm straight on CP. I don't want no old ass." Yeah, but they might get Chris Paul, bro, as the backup. They might get him as a backup, bro. It might end up happening, homie. I'm just being honest. Oh yeah. Hey. Them New England Patriots, yes sir, yes sir. You already know. What up, Vibes? He said you had some of the best playoff streams I've seen last 2 years. Oh, it's gonna get even better next year. He said it's just another prove it year for the Clippers. No disrespect, but we've been down this road. Oh no, I agree. Look, see, to me, the Clippers gotta go out there and prove they can win a championship. I'm not sitting here saying they shouldn't. You should believe in them. So let me make this clear before I get out of here. This video right here is not about. It's not about me saying y'all should believe they're a championship team. That's not what this is about. This live stream is all about people saying the Clippers did not get better. I'm addressing that. I think people are capping. You're capping, you're lying if you're saying the Clippers didn't get better. And everybody tied to an opinion, but again, you're being emotional. How can you say they didn't get better when some of y'all would say, hey, Bradley Beal is better or he's equal? Okay, so basically you didn't get rid of anybody. You just added on John Collins and Brook Lopez. So how do you didn't get better? And you kept your defense, your defense. Batum, Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn. You got a healthy Kawhi Leonard going into this year. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like I'm just bringing logic like I always do, always being logical. I can't guarantee the Clippers gonna win a championship. You know why? Because number one, I can't guarantee they're gonna be healthy. But again, what I can say is this: they got better. Now, getting better, what does that mean? I want a championship. I want a championship, y'all. For the record, I'm putting my foot. I'm I'm putting my foot on the gas this year. I'm looking forward to a championship, nothing less. I think the Clippers don't deserve respect based on what happened the last 5 years. They don't deserve any kind of respect from the media or anybody else. People have the right to say the Clippers are not going to win. They have that right. They do. But we got better though. That's all I'm saying. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. I'm gonna be back, y'all. I'm gonna be back. I got one more live stream I want to do. So I'm gonna be back probably a couple hours or so, but be looking forward to it, man. I got one more live stream I gotta give y'all. I'm out of here.